Yes, hello everyone. Hello to all of you. Hello everyone. Everyone, please confirm. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Audio video is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box. Everyone, please confirm in the chat box. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Audio video is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box. Hello Satyam. So Satyam is having an query facing on an issue regarding preparation of notes. What is the issue that you are facing, dear? What is the issue related to the notes that you are facing? So in the beginning of this course itself, I have told you how you can prepare the notes. So for the preparation of the notes, you can follow the class, and after the class, as you all getting the PDF of the class, so whatever we are discussing in the class, all the written material is available in the form of PDF. So you can refer these PDF for the preparation of your class notes. So this PDF will be help you, the class discussion will be help you for the preparing the for the preparation of the class note. Whatever matter that is required to that should be available in the class notes are written in the class PDF. So you need not to copy all the points. Just try to copy. Just try to note down main points. Yes, I am here to explain here. I am explaining the concepts, and as from your class notes point of view, I have mentioned the detail here. So that's why I am saying for the preparation of the class note, both things are required. Explanation is required, as well as you should have the proper notes. For that, all the content that I have mentioned here. So you can refer the class PDF for the preparation of your class notes. That should be the approach. That should be the approach. And after the class, when you will prepare the notes, then you will also revise your class discussion. So you can follow this approach. It is going to be helpful. So whatever key points are there, I am highlighting here. You can note down all the key points in your notes. You can appear for the SSCJ. What is the problem in that? Yes, it is sufficient. I think you missed some initial lecture. So I will suggest you can complete the previous lecture in the first lecture itself. In the beginning of this course itself, I have taken all these general doubts and queries for which exam this course is going to be useful, how we are going to revise the concept, how we are going to complete this course, what will be the strategy, what will be the role of the live classes, what will be the source of the practice. All these points I have already covered. So follow the lecture from the beginning. You don't have any problem. So I have done, sir. So beta, if you have done, so didn't I mention that this course is going to be useful for all the technical exam? In the first lecture, you will find the detail where I have clearly mentioned this course is going to be useful for your gate exam, for your ESE exam, and as well as for your state AE and JE exam. So in short, we can say the course is going to be useful for all the technical exam if you are having the surveying in your syllabus. Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. So can we start our discussion now? Can we start our discussion? So this is the topic that we are going to complete today, and this is the errors and accuracy. Yes, very easy question you can expect from this topic. Very easy question you can expect from this topic, and that which type of the question you can expect and what is the discussion that we will do one by one. Okay, so let's start the discussion. And today we are going to complete two topics, or you can say two chapter. First is going to be the errors and accuracy, and in the next class we will discuss about the curves. So some small chapters are there. From these chapters you are also getting the exam questions. Okay, so let's move further. So in this class I will cover the concept, types of the error, important terminology related to the errors and accuracy, what is the concept of most probable value or most probable error, and we will see the concept of weight. We will see the concept of the weight. These are the topics that we are going to cover in the class. So earlier also we have talked about all these terms, how you can define the error in linear measurement, in angular measurement, or you can say in any measurement, how we can define the error. All these points we have already covered. So this is not valid only for the linear measurement. This chapter or the discussion is not valid only for the angular measurement. This is valid for any type of the measurement. Whether that measurement you are performing with the help of the chain or tape, or that measurement you are performing with the help of the compass or theodolite. So for any instrument, for any method of the surveying, these are the general concepts that are valid. In any measurements, we can commit the error or mistake, yes or no. So this is the general topic that is related to the all type of the surveying. This is related to the all type of the surveying. So how we have defined the error earlier, we have also defined the error in the case of linear measurement, in the case of angular measurement, in the case of leveling work, in the case of traversing work. We have discussed, we have used this term multiple times, yes or no? We have used this term multiple times. So in any measurement, how we can define the error? So simply we can write error will be equal to measured value minus true value, yes or no? This was the concept of the error. Error is equal to measured value minus true value. How you can define the correction? So correction we have defined as true value minus measured value. Correction we have defined as true value minus measured value. So from that discussion, I can say the error will be equal to minus correction, yes or no? The magnitude of the error and the correction will same. The magnitude of error and correction will same, but the nature is going to be different. So if we are doing the positive error in the measurement, we will apply the negative correction. Similarly, if we are doing the negative error in our measurement, we will apply the positive correction. So magnitude will be same. So I think you all are familiar with these two terms, error and correction. So it's the same thing I have written here. If I talk about the error, how any measurement can have the error, what are the various source of the error, or you can say the type of the error, that we have already discussed. We can commit the error due to the human error. Like first error we can define as human error. This error will be there in your measurement due to the wrong reading or wrong writing due to the mistake by the surveyor. If you are noting the incorrect value, yes, for example the reading was 5.45 and you have mentioned your field book that is 5.54. So that is error due to your human reasons, yes or no? So these kind of error we can define as the human error. Some error in our survey work may be due to the instrumental error, like collimation error. I hope you remember about the collimation error, yes or no? Anyone of you will can you define the collimation error? Can you define the collimation error? How we can define the collimation error? Tell me in the chat box. Tell me in the chat box how we can define the collimation error. Is there any buffering issue? Everyone please confirm once. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Please confirm in the chat box everyone, because Ria is saying, sir, I am having network issue, buffering. All of you are facing the issue? Tell me in the chat box. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? audio video is clear to everyone? Please confirm in the chat box. Audio video is clear to everyone? Everyone, please confirm, dear. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Audio video is clear to everyone? Yes? So can we proceed further? Riya, please confirm, beta. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Okay, so let's see the further discussion. So there may be some human error in your measurement. There may be instrumental error like error due to the collimation. If our instrument is faulty, the error introduced in our measurement due to that faulty instrument will be considered as the human instrumental error. And there are some other source of error, you can say, that is going to be the natural error. So as you can see, like due to the natural season examples, error due to the curvature, error due to the refraction, error due to the slope, error due to the sag, error due to the local attraction. These errors were introduced in our measurement due to the faulty instrument. So broadly we can classify there are three sources of error. One will be the human error. These are the error due to the mistakes done by the surveyor. Second is going to be the instrumental error due to the faulty instrument or the incorrect reading that we are getting due to the faulty instrument. That error we can say is due to the instrumental error. And some natural source of the error like sagging effect. Sagging will be there due to the effect of the gravity, and gravity is the natural phenomena. Yes or no? Similarly, if I talk about the local attraction, that was the natural error. That was the natural source of the error. Slope, local attraction, curvature of the earth. Due to the, if we are not considering the curvature of earth in our measurement, like we are talking about the plane surveying, then there will be error in our measurement. That will be the natural error. So I hope the discussion about the human error, instrumental error and natural error is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box. Please confirm in the chat box, and if anyone having any doubt, any query at any point, so you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. You can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. Okay, so I hope this point is clear to everyone. So now we are moving forward. Like we are going to discuss some important terminology. So there are two important terminology that you should have clear understanding about these two terminology. One is going to be the precision and another is accuracy. Precision and accuracy. Both these terms are very important. How we can define the precision in any measurement, how we can define the accuracy in any measurement, that you should know. So listen carefully and see carefully. Degree of perfection used in the measurement. Degree of perfection used in the measurement is called the precision. So for example, I am going to measure the linear measurement of the distances, or we are taking the angular measurement. For those measurements, we are using the sophisticated instruments. You can say advanced instrument. Like we can measure the chain with the we can measure the distance with the help of the chain. We can also measure the distance with the help of the tape. There are some more advanced instruments are available, like EDM, electromagnetic distance measurement. Yes or no? So if we are using the advanced instrument, if we are using the skilled surveyor, if we are following the proper method to collect the information, can I say in this way, By considering all these points, we can improve the precision of our measurement. Yes or no? We will have more chances that we will get the precise value, correct value of the measurement. So, what is the degree of perfection that we are using for any particular measurement is called as precision. It is adopted by using the high quality instrument, a skilled surveyor, and correct manner, or you can say the correct method for taking the measurements. In this way, we can ensure that there will be high precision in our measurement. The second term is related to the accuracy. The second term is accuracy. What degree of perfection we have achieved? What degree of perfection we have achieved? We have obtained in our measurement. What we are using is known as the precision, and what we are achieving, on that basis we can define the accuracy. On that basis we can define the accuracy. So if any value is more near to the true value or the exact value, then we can say that measurement is accurate. For example, we are measuring a length, a distance. Let's say the distance is 10 meter. Let's say there are two surveyor. Let's say there are two surveyor for measuring the same distance between the point A and B. Let's say the correct distance between the point A and B is 10 meter. One surveyor is saying that the distance between the point A and B is, as per the first surveyor, the distance between the point A and B is 9.2 meter, and another surveyor is saying that the distance is 9.8 meter. Can you tell me which surveyor's results or the observations or the measurements are more accurate? And we know the correct distance, the correct or the true value of the AB is 10 meter. The true value of the AB is 10 meter. This is the, let's say you know this point. Let's say you know this point. So can you tell me which surveyor is more accurate, surveyor 1 or surveyor 2? So this is the measured value by the surveyor 1 and this is the measured value by the surveyor 2. So as you can see, which surveyor is providing more near value to the true value will be more accurate? Will be more accurate, yes or no? So if obviously you can calculate the error for the surveyor 1 also, error for the surveyor 2 also. So this is going to be measured value 9.2 minus 10 will be equal to minus 0.8 meter, and for this you are getting as 9.8 minus 10 will be equal to minus 0.2 meter. So which surveyor is reporting very close to the correct value? And that is the surveyor 2. So now we can say, because the difference between the true value and the measured value is less in the case of surveyor 2, that means the surveyor 2 is more accurate. I am not saying it is correct or incorrect. I am not saying it is correct or incorrect, but I can say like this: the surveyor 2 results or measurements are more accurate as compared to the surveyor 1. Can we say like this? Yes or no? The observations, the measurements that we are getting from the surveyor 2 are more accurate than surveyor 1. Are more accurate than surveyor 1. Can we conclude like this? Tell me. Yes or no? So now we will discuss some more term, like next term is true value of the measurement and another is measured value. What do you mean by the true value or the measured value? Can I say measured value is very simple. Whatever results we are obtaining, whatever field measurements we are performing, and the value we are getting for that particular measurement will be known as the measured value. So for example, in the previous case, this is the measured value by the surveyor 1. This is the measured value by the surveyor 1 and this is the measured value by the surveyor 2. Yes or no? So for a single measurement, we may have the different measure value. Yes or no? It will depend upon the type of surveyor. It will depend upon the type of instrument. So for a single measurement, for a single quantity, can I say I can get the different measured values? Yes or no? Someone can report the same value as 9.3 meter. Someone can report the same value as 10.2 meter. Yes or no? So n number of measured value we can get. N number of measured value we can get for any particular measurement. Yes or no? Can we say like this? Can we say like this? Yes or no? But there will be a fix, there will be a unique value. So for example, this is the point A, this is the point B. If both these points are fixed, if both these points are fixed, how can I get the true value of the measurement? So true value should be the one and only one value. Because if these 2 points are fixed, if these 2 points are not changing their position, how the distance will change? So we will have the unique value of that measurement, and that value will be considered as the true value. And that value will be considered as the true value of the measurement. Yes or no? So you can refer here. What do you mean by the true value? So exact value of the quantity. Exact value of the quantity is called the true value, and it is an ideal value which cannot be achieved. Which cannot be achieved. 100% accurate measurement. And as you know, we have some limitations. We cannot perform 100% accurate measurement. There may be some error. That error due to the human error, that error due to the instrumental error, or that error may be due to the natural error. Yes or no? But yes, if we are getting the 100% accurate measurement, that measurement will be considered as the true value of that measurement. So we will have the example also, don't worry. But now the next question is, sir, how can I get this ideal value or the true value? You have just mentioned in all the measurements we will have some amount of the error. It is very difficult, or you can say impossible, to find out the correct measurement. In all, if we are measuring any quantity, for example, any linear measurement, any distance, so there may be some error. But sir, if there may be some error, so how we can get this true value? This is the question. How can we get this true value? This is my question. Because if we don't have any true value, how we can define the error, or how we can define the correction? So who will tell me? Who will tell me about the correct value or the true value of the measurement? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how we can get the true value or the ideal value of the measurement? Tell me. How can we get the true value or the ideal value of the measurement? Tell me, dear. Who will provide you this true value or the ideal value of the measurement? Who will provide you this true value or the ideal value of the measurement? Tell me. Whatever is your answer, you can post in the chat box. Whatever is your answer, you can post in the chat box. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? But please be interactive in the class. Be interactive in the class. Try to maintain the two-way communication so that you will get all these concepts accurately, or you can say effectively. By true bearing. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Now we will see the most probable value. Now we will see the concept of the most probable value. So whatever terms I have defined like measured value, true value, how we can get the most probable value. For that, let's take an example. For that, let's take an example. So for example, this is the point A and this is the point B. You want to measure the distance between point A and B. So for that, what you will do? You will perform the surveying, yes or no? You will perform the surveying. So let's say we are having the 5 observer. Surveyor 1, surveyor 2, surveyor 3, surveyor 4, surveyor 5. So I have given this responsibility to 5 surveyor. Okay, just tell me what will be the distance between the point A and B. Tell me what will be the distance between the point A and B. All the 5 surveyors went into the field with the help of any instrument. They have started the measurement. They have started the measurement. So, first surveyor comes to me and saying, sir, the measured value that I am getting for distance is that is 5.4 meter. I said, okay. Surveyor 2 is reporting their value, that is measured value for this measurement is going to be, sir, 5.32 meter. Surveyor 3 is reporting the value, that is, sir, measured value by the surveyor 3 is, let's say, 5.62 meter. Measured value by the surveyor 3 is going to be 5.25 meter. Measured value for the surveyor 5 that we are getting as 5.2 meter. All these are the measured value. All these are the measured value, yes or no? Because all the surveyor is having the different skill set. If I am going to perform any measurement, you are going to perform any measurement, both of us are having the different working style, yes or no? Yes. So instruments may be changed. For example, surveyor 1 measure the distance with the help of the chain. Surveyor 2 measure the distance with the help of the tape. Surveyor 3 measure the distance with the help of the EDMI. Yes. So both things are there. Dedication level of each and every surveyor will be different. Yes or no? Dedication level, working style of each and every surveyor will be different, as well as they may have used the different instrument. They may have used the different instrument. That's why for a single measurement, we are getting here 5 measured value. Can it is practically possible कि for 2 fixed point you can report 5 values for the measurement? If the point A and point B are fixed, you should get a unique value, yes or no? You should get a unique value, but here in this example, as you can say, every surveyor is reporting the different value. Every surveyor is reporting the different value. So how it is possible if the 2 points are fixed, but we are getting the 5 different value of the single measurement? But we are getting the 5 different values of the single measurement. So all these are the measured value. Now I want to define the true value. Ideally, you cannot measure the true value. Ideally, if I want to report a single value for the distance between the point A and B, so what I will do, so I can write, sir, AB will be equal to nothing but 5.4 plus 5.32 plus 5.62 plus 5.25 plus 5.2 divide by 5. I can simply take the average. I can simply take the average because I will report single value for this measurement AB. So now I can say the AB is going to be, sir, 5.358 meter. Yes or no? We can report AB as 5.358 meter. We have simply taken an average of all the values. that value we are considering as the true value of the measurement. That value, or you can say, I am saying this is going to be the most probable value. Based on these observations, based on these measurements, if I want to tell you the most probable value of this measurement, so can I say this is going to be the simply average? Yes or no? So this is the concept of the true value or the most probable value. This is the concept of the true value or the most probable value. I hope the discussion is clear to everyone. I hope the discussion is clear to everyone. How we can define the true value, how we can define the most probable value, how we can define the measured value for any measurement. For any measurement. Please confirm in the chat box if the discussion till now is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box if the discussion till now is clear to everyone. So, now you can understand what we have written here. Most probable value of the measurement. It is that value of the quantity for which chances of being true value is more. I am saying out of from all these measurements, I am saying the maximum chances that the distance AB will be equal to 5.358 meter, and that is the most probable value. That is the most probable value. So the same thing I have written here. It is that value of the quantity for which chances of being true value is more. It is calculated on the basis of principle of least square. It is calculated on the basis of principle of least square. So what do you mean by the principle of least square? So let's say, so M most probable value is that value of the quantity for which sum of the square of the error is least. Sum of the square of the error is least. So now let's try to understand. So for example, multiple measurements we have taken for the single quantity like this. So let's say this was the first measurement. I am showing this is x1, this is x2, this is x3, this is x4, this is x5. So now can we take the average? So MPB is going to be x bar that we have just mentioned. So now can I find out the sum of the square of the error? The first measurement was x1. Most probable value is x bar. तो measured value minus 2 value का whole square. We need to find out the error का square. We need to find out the square of the error. So this is the error in the first measurement, square. This is the square of the error in the second measurement. This is the square of the error in the third measurement. This is the square of the error in the nth measurement. Yes or no? So for every measurement, in this way we can find out the square. And what we are doing, we are taking the summation of square of all the errors. We are taking the summation of square of all the errors. I hope this point is clear to everyone. Now I want to make sure that this summation of the square of all the errors should be minimum. So as you know, for minima or maxima, what we can write? For minima or maxima, what we can write? So dy by dx should be equal to 0. If we want that y should be minimum or least value, for the minima or maxima, what we can take? We can take first dy by dx will be equal to 0. And when you will take the dy by dx will be equal to 0, you will get nothing but it is the simple average. It is the simple average that we have considered. So x1 plus x2, this is nothing but MPV will be equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 by 5. Yes or no? This is going to be the MPV, and that same MPV you are considering as the true value. Same most probable value you are considering as the true value. So this was the discussion related to the principle of least square. Similarly, one more thing is there. For example, we are taking all the measurement x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. So as we have discussed, the weightage of all the measurements will have different value. For example, this measurement we have taken, two important points were there, from which instrument and who have taken this reading, means skill of the surveyor. If we are using the sophisticated instrument, if we are using the advanced instrument for taking the observation or for taking the measurement, we should provide more weight, we should provide more value to that particular measurement. Let me ask in another way. Tell me, for example, I have measured a distance with the help of the chain or tape. Let's say I am the same surveyor in both the cases. I have measured a distance between the point A and B with the help of the chain, and the second time I am measuring the distance between point A and B with the help of the tape. What do you think? Which measurement should have more weightage? Or you can say, which measurement should have more importance, with the help of the chain or with the help of the tape? Here I have taken surveyor same for both the condition. Here I have taken surveyor is same for both the condition or for both the measurements. Tell me. So first time I am using the chain to measure the distance, and second time I am using the tape. So as all of we know that tape is more advanced as compared to the chain. Yes or no? Tape is more advanced instrument as compared to the chain. Yes or no? Tape is more advanced instrument as compared to the chain. So the measurement that we have performed with the help of tape, it should have more importance as compared to the measurement that we have performed with the tape. Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat box. For example, third time I am measuring the same distance with the help of the EDM, electromagnetic distance measurement instrument, EDMI I am using. So obviously I can say the third measurement is having the more importance as compared to the other two measurements. As compared to the other two measurements, yes or no? Yes. So now how you will assign this importance? How you will represent this importance? Because if we are changing the instrument, if we are changing the surveyor, all the measurements will not have the same. All the measurements will not have the same weightage, or you can say same importance. So how you can define the importance of the measurement mathematically? Tell me in the chat box. So for that, what we can use, we can assign the weight. We can assign the weight. So let's say this measurement I have taken with weight 1 on a scale 1 to 5. Let's say this for weight, this is weight 2. For this the weight is weight 4, and for this the weight is 5. So we can assign these weights, or we can say assign these values. Now you can say, out of all the 5 measurements, out of all these 5 measurements, which measurement is having the more weightage? Which measurement is having the more weightage? Or you can say, which measurement is having the more importance? Which measurement is having the more importance? Tell me in the chat box. If the weight of the first measurement was 1, weight of the second measurement was, let's say, 2. Similarly, we have assigned the weight for all the measurements. So the measurement which is having the more weightage, the measurement which is having the more weightage will be more important, yes or no? Among all these measurements, the measurement which is having the more weightage will be going to be the more important among all the measurements? Can we say like this? Yes or no? Yes. So if we know the weight of all the measurements, if we know the weight of all the measurements, if we know the weight of all the measurements, now how can we find out the value of the MPB, most probable value, or the X bar? So you just simply take to the weighted average mean. So X1 W1 I will write here, don't worry. So this will be equal to MPV, in this case will be equal to X1 W1 plus X2 W2 plus X3 W3 plus X4 W4 plus X5 W5, and divide by the summation of all the weights W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4 plus W5. So can I say this is nothing but it is the weighted average that we have considered now? It is nothing but it is the weighted average that we have considered now, yes or no? So if we don't know the weight, we can simply take the average. If we know the weight of all the measurements, to get the most probable value, we can take the weighted average. We can take the weighted average. I hope the concept of the MPB, or you can say the most probable value, is clear to everyone now. The concept of the MPB, or you can say the true value, or you can say the most probable value for any measurement, is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box, beta. So right, first formula starting given x1, that is incorrect. That's why I have mentioned. That's why I have mentioned here, written here. There is some typing error. That's why I have mentioned correctly. Yes, yes, that's why, dear, that there was some typing error. That's why I have written here. Now the discussion is clear to everyone. Now the discussion is clear to everyone. So based on this discussion, I can say, based on this discussion, I can say the measurements which is more accurate, for that we will assign the more weight, yes or no? If the chances of the error are less in any particular measurement, for that measurement the weight should be more, yes or no? If the chances of error are less, or you can say if the error is less in any measurement, the weight of that measurement should be more as compared to the other, yes or no? Tell me, dear. So can I say, based on this discussion, can I conclude this point that weight is inversely proportional to error? If any measurement is having the more error, we will assign the less weight for that measurement. If any measurement is having the less error, we will assign the more weight for that measurement, yes or no? Yes or no? So can we say error weight will be inversely proportional to the error? So now we will discuss some important laws of the weight, and that discussion is important from your exam point of view. So now we will talk about the laws of the weight. So there are certain laws that you need to follow. So first we will discuss that laws, and then we will see the problems related to those laws one by one. So let's see the discussion for the laws of the weight. Listen carefully. So laws related to the addition and subtraction. Laws related to the addition and subtraction. So let's say for example, so one measurement x1 is the 5 meter, and this we have taken, let's say w1 is the 2. The weight for the first measurement is 2. Similarly, there is one more measurement x2, and that, let's say, is equal to 6 meter, and the weight of this measurement will be equal to 1. Let's say there are two measurements having the different weights. No problem with that. Yes or no? There are two measurements having the different weight. First measurement is 5 meter having the weight w2. Second measurement is having the 6 meter and having the weight 1. Now if I want to find out the x1 plus x2, or you can say x1 minus x2, or you can say x2 minus x1. So can I simply add these two measurements? Tell me. So x1 was 5 meter. So this is going to be 5 meter plus 6 meter. That will be equal to 11 meter. Simply x1 minus x2 will be equal to 5 meter minus 6 meter. That will be equal to minus 1 meter. That will be equal to minus 1 meter, yes or no? This will be equal to 6 meter minus 5 meter, and that will be equal to 1 meter. That will be equal to 1 meter, yes or no? That will be equal to 1 meter. Yes or no? So simply we can add or subtract these two measurements without any problem. Yes or no? Simply we can add or subtract these two measurements without any problem. Yes or no? Tell me if you have any doubt, any query till now. These were the two measurements. The weight of the measurements were W1 and W2. Now if we want to add these two measurements or subtract x1 minus x2, or you can say x2 minus x1. So these are going to be the result, yes or no? These are going to be the results. Tell me yes or no. These are going to be the result. But my question is now, for example, in the first case, for example, in the first case, you are getting the result as 11 meter. Now, what will be the weight of this result? What will be the weight of this result? Anyone? What will be the weight of this result? 11 meter minus 1 meter and 1 meter. X1 was having the weight 2, X2 was having the weight 1. But now if we are getting the final result of X1 and X2 as 11 meter, so my question is very simple. What will be the weight of this result? What will be the weight of this result? Can you tell me? Can you tell me? So let's see the some laws related to the weight. To refer this slide. So for addition, for subtraction, this is going to be the weight of the result. So as per our example, no. As per our example, x1 was 5 meter, w1 was 2, x2 was 6 meter, and w2 was 1. So if we are doing x1 plus x2, so we are getting as 11 meter. But what will be the weight of this result? What will be the weight of this result? That is going to be 1 divided by 1 upon W1 plus 1 upon W2. This is going to be the weight. This is going to be the weight. So this is going to be 0.66. 0.66 will be the weight of the result. 0.66 would be the weight of the result. So you can see for addition, for subtracting, both the concept, both the laws for the weight is same. Here also it is plus, here also it is plus. In this way, for adding to two quantity, for subtracting two or more quantity, you can use this law to find out the weight of the result. You can find out this law. Law is going to be applicable to find out the weight of the result. To find out the weight of the result. I hope that point is clear to everyone. I hope that point is clear to everyone, yes or no. Please confirm in the chat box, dear. Please confirm in the chat box. So laws related to the addition or subtraction, I hope is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box so that we can proceed further. Please confirm in the chat box so that we can proceed further. It is clear. Very good. So we have some more laws related to the multiplication and division. So for example, we are having one measurement that is 5 meter with weight 2. Now, if I want to multiply this measurement with any constant, so for example, I want to multiply this measurement with the help of constant 2. In this case, what should be the result? So what will be the value of k into x1? This is nothing but 2 into 5, that is going to be 10 meter, yes or no? Again the question is same. If we are multiplying this measurement with the constant k, we are getting the result as 10 meter, but what should be the weight of this result? What should be the weight of this result? So as you can see in this table, if we are multiplying with constant, so to get the weight of the result, what was the initial weight? That was the 2, and divide by constant ka square, 2 square. So 1 by 2 by 4, that will be equal to 1 by 2 is going to be the weight. Is going to be the weight of the result. Similarly, if we are dividing any measurement with constant k, to get the weight of the result, we need to multiply the initial weight with constant ka square. We need to multiply the initial weight with constant ka square. So let's see. For example, now I want to divide. What will be the x1 upon k? So x1 upon k is going to be 5 by 2. So that will be equal to 2.5 meter. Now in this case, what will be the weight? So weight of result will be equal to, initial weight was 2 into constant into 2 ka square. So that will be equal to 4 into 8. This is going to be the weight of the result as per this law. So here I have taken the example for the multiplication, and I have also considered a problem related to the division by any constant. Related to the division by any constant. So I hope this point is also clear to everyone. I hope this point is also clear to everyone. So these were the laws of weight related to the multiplication and division by a constant. Related to the multiplication and division by a constant. I hope the discussion till now is clear to everyone. I hope the discussion till now is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box if the discussion till now is clear to everyone. It's clear? Very good. So now let's see the next law, addition and subtraction by a constant. So if any measurement we are adding the constant, or from any measurement we are subtracting a constant, or from any constant we are subtracting the measurement, there will be no change in the weight of the result. There will be no change. So for example, x1 was 5 meter and w1 was 2. So now what we are doing, we are adding a constant, let's say 3. So 5 plus 3 will be equal to, this is going to be the result. But if I talk about the weight of the result, the weight of the result will be same, that will be equal to 2. There will be no change in the weight of the result. There will be no change in the weight of the result if we are adding a constant in any measurement, if we are if we are subtracting a constant from any measurement, or if we are subtracting any measurement from the constant. Any measurement from the constant. So these were the laws related to the weight. I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. Yes or no? I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. So these are the things that you should know. These are the things that you should know related to the, in this chapter, that is the errors and accuracy. Related to the errors and accuracy. So I want confirmation from all of you if the entire discussion of this chapter is clear to everyone, so that we can proceed for the next discussion. And I mentioned in the yesterday's class, today we will practice some question of the basic surveying. Yes. So here now we will start our discussion for the question. I am not going to solve this question. All these topics we have already covered in the class. So you all are going to solve this question. So are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? I will be there. If you have any doubt, any query, then definitely I will answer your doubt and query for every question. So I hope you all are ready with your pen, copy and calculator. All these are the GATE previous year question. So you can use the calculator and try to use the virtual calculator only. Try to use the virtual calculator. So tell me what will be the answer for this question. Tell me what will be the answer for this question. Everyone try to solve this question. It is the very simple question you all can easily solve. Based on the discussion that we have done in the class, based on that discussion, you can easily solve all these questions. What will be the answer for this question? What will be the answer for this question? Have you got the answer for this question, dear? Have you got the answer for this question? So Pooja is saying answer will be C. Okay, so let's see the discussion. What they are saying in the question, and this is your GATE 2019. GATE 2019 problem. The interior angle of the four triangles are given below. So triangle PQRS are having the interior angles and the angles they have provided. What they are asking, which of the following triangles are ill conditioned? Which of the following triangles are ill conditioned and should be avoided in the triangulation survey? And should be avoided in the triangulation survey. So what was the condition for the well conditioned triangle? What was the condition for the well conditioned triangle? So we have discussed any angle of the triangle should be in the range of 30 to 120 degree. Yes or no? So no angle of the triangle should be less than 30 degree. No angle of the triangle, interior angle of the triangle should be greater than 120 degree. If any triangle is following this guideline or this condition, we can say that triangle is going to be the well conditioned triangle. That triangle is going to be the well conditioned triangle, yes or no? But if any triangle is not following this guideline, is not following this condition, we can say that triangle, we can consider that triangle as a ill conditioned triangle. So for the triangle P, they have provided you all the angles, and you can say first angle is 85 in this range, 50 in this range, 45 in this range. We need to identify the ill conditioned triangle. We need to identify the ill conditioned triangle. So this is going to be the well conditioned triangle. Similarly, for the angle triangle Q, you can say there is an angle 25 degree which is less than 30 degree. So can I say angle triangle Q will be the triangle Q will be the ill conditioned triangle? Because for the triangle Q, this angle is 25 degree, or we know for a well conditioned triangle, any angle of the triangle should not be less than 30 degree and it should not be greater than 120 degree. Yes or no? Any angle of the triangle should not be less than 30 degree and it should not be greater than 120 degree. Similarly, if I talk about the next triangle, that is the triangle R. So for the triangle R, you can say the angles are given as 100, 45, 35. All the conditions are fulfilled. So this is going to be the well conditioned triangle. For triangle S, one angle is 130 degree which is greater than 120 degree. One more angle is there that is 20 degree that is less than from 30 degree. So can I say this triangle will also ill conditioned triangle? So out of the four triangles, two triangles are well conditioned triangle and two triangles are ill conditioned triangle. In this question, we need to report the ill conditioned triangle. So ill conditions are going to be Q and S. Q and S. So I think the correct answer will be D. So those who are marking answer, their answer as C, are incorrect. So how you have marked your answer as C, dear? How you have marked your answer as C? So it was the very simple problem related to the triangulation. Related to the triangulation. So can I move to the next question? I hope the entire discussion for this question is clear to everyone. So can we move to the next question? So let's see the next question, and this is the question number 2. You all can easily solve this question. You all can easily solve this question. Tell me what will be the answer. Tell me what will be the answer for this question. Tell me. Tell me what will be the answer for this question. So I don't think you have revised the concept, because these are the very basic question. If you are not able to solve all these question, that means you all are not revising your concept. Hmm? So I want to know why you all are not revising your concept. Without revision, you will not able to solve any question in your exam. Without revision, you will not able to retain all these concepts till your exam. So I was expecting that we will do some good question, but if you are not able to solve these basic question, then it will be very difficult. So answer you are saying that is A. Okay. If the reduced bearing of a line of 10 L is given as 10 meter, reduced bearing is given as east, west, north, south. For this line, the reduced bearing is given as north 30° east, or that is the bearing, 4 bearing we can also consider in WCB system. So for WCB system, theta is going to be 30°. So what they have asked? They have asked about the departure. अरे भैया departure, latitude will be equal to L cos theta and departure will be equal to L sin theta. तो D is going to be 10 into sin 30. A आएगा? कैसे A आ रहा है? What, क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग? बोलो भाई, क्या आ रहा है? अरे क्या आ जाएगा? Departure will be equal to 10 into sin 30 is going to be simply directly I can write departure will be equal to 5 meter. So how you are getting your answer as A? Pooja, what was the latitude? What was the latitude? Latitude of any line, we will take the projection on the north-south axis. For departure, we will take the projection of any line on the east-west axis. For the calculation of the latitude and departure, always we will consider the 4 bearing in the WCB system, so that we need not to apply the sign manually. If the latitude is positive or if the latitude is negative, if we are using all the angles in WCB system, then automatically you will get the sign of the latitude and departure. So very disappointing, bhai. It is very disappointing for me. I hope you are, all are attending the classes, also solving daily. I am asking, are you practicing the PYQs? Are you practicing the DPPs? Are you participating in that weekly test? And this is the response. That this is really disappointing. That concept we have covered in the class, yes or no? Or I have used any new concept? We have solved 2 questions. So yesterday itself I have mentioned. Yesterday I have told you about this class. We will practice some question, but here only I am practicing the question. So if I will practice the question, how it will be useful for you? How it is going to be helpful for you if I am practicing the question? Hmm? Okay, so try to revise the concept, dear. No worry, so there are some question. So I want you all should practice all these question at your own. This is my expectation because all these topics we have already covered in class in detail. So these are the previous year questions. So don't worry, I will provide you this PDF. You will get the PDF and here all the questions are mentioned. You should try all these questions, and if you are having any doubt, any query at any particular question, you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. So before any discussion, I want you all should attempt all these questions. So this is the question that you can see is related to the simple relative precision is required in the case of traverse survey. So you all can easily solve this question. You all can easily solve this question. Do attempt this question. Similarly, this is the question again related to the latitude and departure. So topic I will mention. This question is related to the closing error. This question is related to the latitude and departure. This question is related to the latitude and departure that we have discussed in the case of traverse survey. Yes or no? Next question. This question is related to the compass surveying. This question is related to the compass surveying. And this question we have discussed in the class itself. In the case of compass surveying, this question we have discussed. I think the answer was D, 48 degree 45 minute. Do you remember the discussion for this question? In this question, you need to check, is there any error due to the local attraction? If there is an error due to the local attraction, find out the correction and also find out the correct bearing of the line BC. That questions we have discussed in the class itself. I hope you remembered that discussion. Yes or no? No worry. So if you have missed then you can again solve. This is the 2-mark problem of GATE 2013. Now let's see the next question. This is the question related to the closed traverse. And for any closed traverse, we know algebraic summation of all the latitudes should be equal to 0 and algebraic summation of all the departures should be equal to 0. For any closed traverse, algebraic summation of all the latitudes should be equal to 0. Algebraic summation of all the departures should be equal to 0. So, we have taken some length and we have taken some bearings. One length is missing. So, we can solve from any one of the above equation. You can apply algebraic summation of latitude equal to 0, then also you will get this missing value. If you are applying the algebraic summation of all the departure is equal to 0, then also you can find out this missing length. So only one equation is required to solve this unknown. You can use any one of the following equation. So this is the concept that you can use to solve this question. I hope that discussion is also clear to everyone. Yes or no? So let's see this that you can answer directly. That question you can answer directly. Tell me the answer for this question. What will be the answer for this question? What will be the answer for this question? That you can easily answer. Everyone tell me your answer in the chat box, dear. Everyone tell me what will be the answer for this question. What will be the answer for this question? So you have problem in this question also. You have problem in this question also. Tell me yes or no. Tell me yes or no. This is very simple and basic question. In quadrantal bearing system, in RB or QB system, in WCB system, the bearing of any line can vary from 0 to 360 degree. We have discussed all the features, all the characteristics related to the WCB system and related to the RB or QB system. Because in the WCB system, we will measuring all the angle from the north in the clockwise direction, so that in the case of WCB system, the bearing of any line can vary from 0 to 360 degree. In the case of RB or QB system, in the case of RB or QB system, the bearing of any line will vary from 0 to 90 degree. Because in the case of RB or QB system, the reference we can take that will be north or south. If I talk about the direction, we can take the measurement in both the direction, in the clockwise direction also, in the anti-clockwise direction also. So the maximum angle, the maximum bearing of any line in the RB or QB system will be equal to 90 degree. Yes or no? So what will be the correct answer for this question is going to be 0 to 90 degree. 0 to 90 degree. So again, this is a very good question related to the Travers survey. Related to the Travers survey. And on the same concept, they have asked a question in GATE 2023 exam also. So here also, this is for a closed traverse. We will use the concept that algebraic summation of all the latitudes should be equal to 0, and algebraic summation of all the departure will be equal to 0. And from this concept only, we can solve this question. So do try to solve this question. This is the very good question from your GATE exam. This is the 2-mark problem they have asked, and this is the very good question related to the Travers survey. So I hope you all will solve. Either options are missing, don't worry. So this is the question related to the geodetic leveling. This is the question related to the geodetic leveling, as you can see. So what I can write, total distance will be equal to 3.855 under root h1 plus under root h2. So you need to put h1 and h2 in meter, and the distance of the visible horizon that you will get in kilometer. So here h1 and h2 is provided to you. So as you can see, h1 is given as 5 meter, h2 is given as 40 meter, and they have asked about the total distance of the visible horizon in kilometer. Put the value, you will get the answer. So it is the very simple question related to the distance of the visible horizon from the geodetic leveling chapter. From the geodetic leveling chapter. Now let's see the next discussion. This is the question related to the arithmetical check. So summation of the backside, algebraic summation of the foreside is given as 3.085 meter, 5.645 meter. The RL of the starting point, is given as 100 meter. So they have asked about the RL of the end point. What will be the RL of the end point? So for that we can use the concept of the arithmetical check. So algebraic summation of back side minus algebraic summation of all the four side should be equal to the last RL minus first RL. So this is given as 3.085 minus 5.645 will be equal to last RL. Let's say this is X, and first RL is given as 100. So you can, from here you can find out the value of X, and that will be your answer. That we have discussed about all these things in detail in our classes? Yes or no? So you can see from which topic they are asking which type of the question. So, okay, no problem to try to revise the concept in the next class. So, we will have some more question discussion in the next class, and I want you all should participate in this discussion. If you are not revising, if you are not practicing, trust me, dear, no matter how clearly you are understanding the concept today, but without improper revision, without practice, you will not able to retain all these concepts till your exam. Learning the concept is the very important, but the most important thing, you have to retain all these concepts till your exam. For that, the revision and practice is required. So in this way, in this class, we have discussed some question related to the basic surveying, and we have also completed the discussion for the chapter that is errors and accuracy, in which we have discussed about the theories of error, and we have discussed about the laws of the weight, and we have discussed some important terminology like most probable value, true value of the measurement, measured value of the measurement, and principle of least square. So all these points we have completed. So this was all about for this discussion. I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. So we will meet again at 9:30 p.m. to cover one or more small topic, that is the curve. So we will talk about the curve and their element, simple circular curve and their element in the next class, and we will also solve some question, previous year question from your practice point of view in the next class. So this was all about for this class. Thank you everyone. Keep learning. Thank you.